Hello, excuse me. Hello everyone. Welcome to your Vinyasa practice. My name is Tessa. If you haven't joined me before, welcome. If you have joined me before, welcome back. We're going to start out on our mats in child's pose. If child's pose is something that doesn't work for your knees, you can just roll onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. So basically just flip your child's pose upside down. You could also support your hips with a pillow. Like if the hips tend to be really far away from the heel bones and you want to add a little extra layer of support for the hips, you can always prop. So either way, start to make your way into whatever variation of child's pose is going to work for you today. You can stretch your arms forward if that feels good on the shoulders. You can also bend your elbows and place your hands right underneath the forehead. I find that feels better on the top of the shoulder joint if it feels like you have any impingement in the muscle or the ligament. Start to settle in. Start to notice your breath. Making any little adjustments. And then see if you can breathe a little bit deeper here. Start to take the breath down into the belly. And so you might just notice how the body feels today. If there are any particular aches and pains in the body, or if there are any places that feel really good. Any places in between that feel maybe numb or inaccessible. Let's take about 3 more breaths here in child's pose. One more big breath in. Big breath out. And then we'll make our way into tabletop. And then start to pull the heart forward, let the belly drop, and feel your tailbone lift. So you're making a little bit of a back bend in your spine. Take a deep breath in here. And take a deep breath out, press the floor away, around the chin into the chest, tuck the tailbone under. From there, send your hips back towards your heels. Bend your elbows, forearms to the mat, coming back towards child's pose. And we're going to move in and out of this shape a few times. So we'll inhale, we'll come forward into that back bend. You can let your belly drop, let your tailbone and heart lift. Press the floor away, around the chin in, tuck the tailbone under. Start to bend the elbows as you send your hips back towards the heels, child's pose. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale forward. Find the back bend that works for you. And then exhale, press the floor away, round the spine. Start to bend the elbows, soften back to child's pose. One more time, inhale forward. Exhale, round out. And then all the way back, child's pose one last time. Next, inhale, come forward, tabletop, curl your toes under, lift your knees up, high plank. Take a moment, pause, press the floor away. Feel that round in the upper back. Keep pressing into the hands as you lift your hips up and back. Find downward facing dog. Let your chin tuck in towards your chest. Back of the neck lengthens out. And then maybe start to bend the knees right and left. Pedal out through the backs of the legs. You can take a wider stance with the feet and the hands. Sometimes that's nice for the first downward facing dog. Makes a little bit more space for hips and shoulders. Let's inhale, come forward back to tabletop. And then set the knees down and come all the way down onto the belly. Walk your hands back so that the wrists kind of line up underneath the elbows, and then squeeze your elbows into your side waist. Press down into your hands, lift your heart, bend your right knee so the right heel squeezes in towards the glute. This is your inhale, just that right knee is bending, and then exhale, relax the right leg and release the forehead to the mat. Inhale, press the floor away, lift the heart, bending the left knee so that left heel bone squeezes towards the glute. Feel the heart lift. And then exhale, release. Left leg extends, forehead touches the mat. Inhale, lift up through the chest, bend the right knee. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up, bend the left knee. Exhale, lower. One more time to each side. Inhale, lift up through the chest, bending the right knee. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up through the chest, bending the left knee. Exhale, lower. Now, with the forehead on the mat, you can either leave your hands as they are, or take your hands right underneath your forehead and bend both knees and draw the feet side to side. It's kind of like a little windshield wiper with the feet to release the low back. And then keeping the knees bent, just come back through center. So it's like the feet are looking up at the ceiling. Press the palms underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulders down the back. Press into your hands. Maybe lift up through the heart a little bit here. Doesn't have to be big. And then exhale, release, let those legs go long. Let the forehead touch mat. Now tuck your toes under, press down through your hands and your knees, rise up to tabletop. Keeping the toes curled under, lift the knees, press into the hands, lift the hips up and back, find downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Bring your big toes together to touch so you have a more narrow stance in your downward facing dog now. Press into both hands, even engage your fingertips into the mat like you're clawing the mat with your fingertips. Inhale, stretch your right leg up and back. Now bend that right knee just like you did when we were on our belly. That right heel squeezes towards the glute, and then straighten out through the right leg. Try that a couple of times, bending the right knee in your down dog. Straighten the right leg. Try it twice more, bend and straighten. So no momentum here. Use your muscle to bend the knee and squeeze. And then inhale to lengthen. And then replace that right foot, downward facing dog. Big toes touching, back of the mat. If you need a break, you can always set your knees down and reset. Come back to down dog when you are ready. And then adding on, left leg lifting up and back. Doesn't matter how high the leg goes, just try to bend the knee, squeeze that left heel towards the left glute, and then straighten out through the leg. See if you can keep your shoulders, your chest squaring down towards the mat, so you're not opening and rotating through the chest. You're keeping the spine relatively neutral as you bend and straighten the left leg. One more time. Replace that left leg, down dog. Deep breath in, shift forward, high plank. Set the knees to the mat, tabletop. Sit back on the heels, interlace your fingers to the webbing and roll out through the wrists. So we just spent a fair amount of time on our hands. Let's make sure our wrists are adequately warmed up. So as you're circling out through your knuckles, see if you can switch that pattern out. Can you go the opposite direction with the knuckles? Might feel kind of awkward. That's okay. Now, hands still interlaced. Press the palms straight forward, kind of round the upper back. And then arms up and overhead, reaching the palms up towards the ceiling. Maybe the hands are still interlaced. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, don't do it. You can always release the arms. Just reach, reach, reach. Deep breath in. And then release the hands, deep breath out. Just start to shake out the wrist side to side. And then front to back. And do that a couple of times, side to side. And front to back. And then shake the whole arms out like you're flicking water from your fingertips, from your arms. You're trying to dry the water off of your limbs. All right, let's come back to tabletop. Curl the toes under, lift the knees, high plank, breathe in. Press into the hands, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog, breathe out. Big breath. Good. Now we're going to lift our heels up, bend the knees slightly. Start to walk your way forward to the top of the mat, Uttanasana, your forward fold. Relax your head here, back of the neck is long. You bend your knees as much as you need to get the fingertips on the floor, a little counterbalance, or you can always bring a prop in front of you like a chair, a stool, or blocks to help the floor be a little bit more accessible. Let's find a halfway lift here, fingertips to the shins. And then in your halfway lift, bend your knees and sink your hips. Stretch your arms straight forward. So you're coming into chair. So feel the weight in the heel bones. See if you can lift up your toes and then relax the toes. Press down through your feet. Stand all the way up, top of the mat, reaching the arms overhead. Exhale, relax the arms. Just stand tall here for a moment. Let your shoulders roll down your back. Let your arms relax alongside your body. Maybe even close your eyes and just play with this idea of shifting weight forward and back. So eyes closed to get a sense of balance in the soles of the feet. You might feel wobbly at first, that's normal. You're strengthening your ability to propriocept. You can acknowledge where your body is in space and time. All right, let's add on to our vinyasa. We'll blink the eyes open. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. And we'll exhale, we'll fold all the way in, Uttanasana. Inhale, find that halfway lift, fingertips to shins, and then bend your knees, sink your hips, stretch your arms straight forward, find that chair pose. On our exhale, we'll refold, fingertips down, step your right foot back, right knee to the mat. Sweep the arms forward and up, low lunge. Can you catch your right wrist with your left hand? Reach your body off to the left side. So again, left hand holding right wrist, reaching body off to your left side. So you're creating a lot of space through right ribs, right waist, right hip flexor. Come back up through center, fingertips to the mat. Step the right foot forward. Fold over the legs, relax your head. Breathe out. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Bend your knees, sink your hips, find that chair. Press down into your feet, stand all the way up, top of the mat, reaching the arms overhead. And then exhale, relax your arms. Stand tall. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Second side, inhale, arms reach out and up. Exhale, fold all the way in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips to shins. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Arms stretch forward, chair pose. Next exhalation, forward fold. Step your left foot back, left knee to the mat. Arms sweep forward and up. Okay, so now right wrist catches left hand. Right wrist catches left hand, or right hand holds left wrist. And you're going to reach your arms off to the right. Breathing space into left ribs, left waist, left hip flexor. Inhale, come back through center. Fingertips to the mat. Step that left foot forward. Fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, stretch the arms forward. Utkatasana, breathe in here. And then breathing out, press through the feet, stand all the way up top of the mat. Release your arms alongside your body, pause. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time, each side. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, stretch the arms forward, chair pose. Forward fold, fingertips to the mat, step the right foot back. Option, instead of releasing the right knee to the mat, leave it lifted as you sweep the arms forward and up, either low or high lunge. If you'd like to layer on that side bend, your left hand holds your right wrist as you reach your hands off to your left. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Upper body comes back through center, fingertips to the mat. Step the right foot forward. Fold over the legs. Release your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, chair pose. Press into your feet, stand all the way up. Exhale, release the arms. Last side, second side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, arms stretch forward, chair. Forward fold. Step your left foot back. With that option to leave that left knee lifted, sweep the arms forward and up. In your high or low lunge, you can choose to grab your left wrist with your right hand and then reaching the hands off to your right. Come back through center, breathe in, reach up. Fingertips to the mat, step that left foot forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Chair pose. Press down into the feet, stand all the way up top of the mat. Reach the arms overhead. And then exhale, arms down alongside the body. Option here to take the hands back behind you, palms face one another. Maybe the fingertips or maybe the fingers interlace to the webbing. If the palms can get together and the shoulders feel okay, you can play with stretching the arms out. You could also take a piece of clothing or a towel and just pull it taut between the two fists, facing the knuckles straight back behind you. Either way, option here to keep that bind or release it, bending forward from the hips, a little bend in the knees. As the knuckles reach up towards the ceiling, let your head relax in your forward fold. If that bind is too much, just release it. And then we'll come into chair pose by releasing the arms, fingertips down and forward. Bending the knees, sinking the hips, find that chair. Exhale, fold back in. Let's step back to high plank. Pause in your high plank. Feel your body lengthen out. Feel your arm bones strong, pressing the floor away. Feel your thigh bones strong, moving away from the knees. You shift forward from there. Set the knees down, coming all the way onto the belly. Tuck your chin in, let your forehead rest as you walk your hands back, right underneath the elbows. Press down into the hands, lift the heart, bend that right knee, feel it squeeze towards the glute. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up, bending the left knee, feel it squeeze towards the glute. Exhale, release. Now curl your toes under, press up to either hands and knees or high plank. And with the option to move back to downward facing dog or child's pose. Take 3 breaths. We'll meet up in downward facing dog if you're not already there. Last little bit of standing work. And then we'll move to the floor. So from down dog, we'll step that right foot forward, spin that left heel flat, bend into that right knee with the left leg straight, lift the torso up, stretch the arms forward. Option here to bend both elbows and just kind of like hugging the elbows overhead. Forearms are just kind of hovering right above the crown of my head. I'm turning my torso straight forward. There's a slight tuck of my tailbone under. My navel hugs up into my spine. So I'm protecting my low back by trying to lengthen it out a little bit. See if you can find your breath here. One more inhale. And then exhaling, release the fingertips down. Stepping back to high plank. Shift forward onto those toes. Option to lower with or without the support of the knees, coming all the way onto the belly. As you press into your hands, lift the heart, bend that right knee. Exhaling, lower. And then lifting up through the chest, bending the left knee. Exhaling to lower. Curl the toes under. Choose to either press up to hands and knees or high plank. Meeting back in either downward facing dog or child's pose, 3 breath cycles. All right, so from downward facing dog, we'll round out that second side with warrior one. We'll step that left foot forward, spin the right heel bone flat. Bending into your left knee, lift the torso up, stretching the arms overhead with the option to bend the elbows. And then maybe if you can remember which forearm was on top this time, you just kind of play with swapping out that top forearm. If you can't remember, no big deal. It's usually the one that feels most awkward that you did not do on the first side. So you just try both ways. And then we'll settle in here for 3 breaths. Right leg is straight, right quadricep is engaged. There's that slight tuck of the tailbone under, the lift of the front of the navel up and into the lower rib cage. So we're nice and long in the spine. One more breath here. And then release the hands, fingertips to the mat, stepping into high plank. Optional flow, you can shift forward, lowering yourself down with or without the support of the knees. And then pressing the chest up as you bend that right knee, option to roll some weight onto that left hip. Maybe the right toes touch the outer left side of the floor. Rolling back through center. Release fully through sides, so let your forehead touch. And then as you're ready, inhale, lifting up, bending that left knee. Maybe you roll some weight onto the right hip, reaching your left foot to the outer right side of the floor. And then coming back through center. One more time, choosing to either press up and back to downward facing dog or child's pose. And child's pose is where we will meet. So if you're going to move through another down dog, great. Take your time there. And when you're ready, shifting forward, knees to the mat, hips to the heels. Child's pose. In child's pose, take one more deep breath. And we're going to make our way onto our back body. So however you want to do that transition, it's up to you. Nothing specific today. Once you get onto your back body, roll your shoulders down your back, slightly tilt your chin into your chest. Walk your feet wide on your mat with your knees bent. And then just start to take the knees side to side. I like to take my hands to my belly so that I can feel the breath moving in and out. And then if I can't feel the breath moving in and out, I know where the work is today. See if I can deepen the breath a little bit more. Feel free to pause with your knees off to one side, a few breath cycles. If you're doing that pause, make sure you do it on the opposite side. Knees sway off to the opposite side and pause and breathe. And then anything else you like, perhaps a final happy baby, you're hugging your knees into your chest before we're going to settle into our final Shavasana. If there's any particular Shavasana setup that you're craving, with any of your props, or utilizing legs of the wall, or even sitting upright in a comfortable seat. All of those things are always welcome. I'm going to set us a timer for 1 minute. We'll settle in here to silence and stillness if possible. Just letting the body rest. Let's take a deep breath in together through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale the air out. Feel your jaw soften. Feel your eyes close. All the muscles of the face relax. Shavasana. If you have more time to spare in your day, please stay longer. If you need to move on, start to awaken fingertips and toes. Move your head side to side. Any way you like, you can start to make your way up to an upright seat. We'll just take a moment to close out our practice. Roll the shoulders down the back. Feel your chin parallel with the ground. Deep breath in here. Feel the spine grow tall. And then as you breathe out, you might bow your chin into your chest as an offering for reverence and gratitude for the practice. And to all of our teachers, past, present, future, to the teacher within your own heart, Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. It's so nice to have this practice and be able to share it with you all. Please take care of yourselves and come back again soon. Bye.